Hey, Sergei.
Hello, Mr. Rogers.
Thank you for joining the School of You podcast.
Oh yeah,
Very excited. We've been talking about having this podcast for a while now, and we're
yeah,
finally making it happen.
yeah. I'm really happy to do it.
Yeah, we got a good setup today. We are jumping into some deep work, human development, human behavior.
Yeah.
I want to actually also understand you a little bit more,
Okay.
how this actually has helped your life. And what we're talking about here is NLP.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of the my favorite topics for the last, I think, 2 years. Yeah, as far as like it's really helping to me to like make my life way more productive, if I can say like that.
Product?
Yeah, as far as like NLP, actually, it's mostly about the productivity. It's
Oh,
we can speak a bit about that a bit later.
yeah.
So just
You're from Russia.
yes.
So this is an amazing thing. There's so many people around the world that we've been able to connect with that are just super open-minded, super unique, and have really amazing things that go on in their life. Just fascinates me. And today, we're going to dive into NLP, and NLP is Neuro-Linguistic Programming.
See, yes.
What is, if you could explain just the basics of what it has, just kind of like the tip of the iceberg of what is actually done for you from when you were 2 years ago yourself.
Okay. So mostly I see NLP as the some levels of the understanding, and the first level is about how we speak with other world and how can we communicate with ourselves. As far as like we are human beings, and most of us communicate like on the like on the language level. As far as like it's really depend what words you're gonna use in your life and what you're gonna like get in your life, and like what is you're gonna feel about that.
Okay.
Yeah, and the first level, I think it's about like how you can communicate with the other people and yourself, like on really on the worst level. Let's say if you like super easy example, in English we have some words that connect to things like and, but, and let's say even though, and you can like compare a couple of the things. If you say like I have, say. I have a great day, but today's rain. So it's feel like today's rain is like more powerful than I have a great day.
Yeah.
But if you say like today I have a great day and today's rain, so it's quite equal. But if you're gonna say I have a great day even though today's rain.
It's so interesting. That's the power of language and meaning,
Yes.
and what those words are translating to mean for you specifically, right? But then also the generalized term, like you said, okay, hey, if it's a good day today, but this is
Yeah.
enunciating that, or it's saying, oh, there's something not there, something not enough there.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
is, then there's something to add to that,
Yeah.
even though is a way better word to use than but. It's, what would you say, even so someone says even though or but, where's the more intensity? Which one has more intensity to it of the negative feeling? Because I think that even though, that still has a little bit of a negative intensity to it.
Just on my perspective, but is a really strong thing to annihilate the good parts. As far as like, if the person use a lot of but, it's one of the greatest things to build excuses. As far as like I was like super motivated to do this job, but I didn't have the time for that. Like, and if you're gonna check like in your surrounding, people who is like usually use the word but, they do way less things. Like it's so straight line between it.
The data behind the productivity, you're saying.
Productivity, it just depends like how you're gonna understand the word productivity.
Right, right.
As far as like NLP is most about the effectivity and productivity in the like each line of your life, and sometimes it's nice to do some like excuses and don't do the things that gonna like take you out from your main project. So it can be epic, it can be productive for your main goal. But like if you do the excuses for your like main job, it's gonna be unproductive.
Yeah, excuses are the worst enemy in any sort of life. I mean, I actually just had a workshop a few days ago on the power of no, power of saying no, right?
Okay.
So when we look at when people say no, what so okay, you were to ask me, hey, can you come over and help me fix up something? Or hey, can you take me to the bar? Or hey, can you take me and do this thing for me? Right? A lot of the times, most people don't directly say no, or even figure out a polite way to say no by making the theme about them say, hey, I've got this thing going on with me. I have a bug or something. Maybe I'm not up for it today. They put the responsibility on something else. They give the excuse to something else that's outside of their control. Basically to say, oh, my car is broken. Oh, it's just not going to work. I have this thing to do today, later on today. And I want to say, this is the excuses that people make to say no. It's easier to make excuses than it is to actually move forward. But the fact that we're talking about this in the actual language, so where this gets even powerful for just an individual level, by understanding the language and the meaning behind these words, are actually creating excuses as well. That's what I find fascinating. So I would love to understand how this has even come into your world. How did you even get into NLP?
So I just heard something about NLP when I used to work in sales. As far as like most of the sales like take a lot of things from NLP. As far as like NLP is about like make your speech way more effective, make your communication way more effective. And sales, it's more about like how can you be effective when you communicate with other people to get money from them. And I just heard some things, and maybe a couple of years ago, I started to read like Tony Robbins, and like from that, I just like, okay, NLP, and I found for me like so effective on the communication with my girlfriend. As far as like I started to do like some work with that. As far it's really interesting. In NLP, there is 13 laws of the life, let's say like that, and one of that sounds that every behavior has positive income. Like all of the things that we do in our life has the positive income. And when I started to communicate with my girlfriend, and we start to, let's say, like, trying to be heard, or we trying to like say that, okay, I need some attention or something like that. And the only one way that we had to communicate, we start to like raise our voice, we start to be like more, not rude, but like if you want to be heard, you start to increase your voice, you start to scream or something like that. And on the physical level, when you increase the volume of your speech, when you become like more like hard, let's say like that, so to be heard, in some moment it's become like way more aggressive. And for the aggressive things, the only thing that can be like from the other people is also aggressive, and it's just like go up, and it's like it's ended with the really bad way. Like and in some moment I found that, but I didn't know how to overcome that. And one of the great things that so I found this thing about like but. As far as like I just deleted but from like my speech at all.
Yeah.
And this is already helps so much. As far as like if you say like yes, I hear but and blah blah blah, it's automatically like delete all of the good things that you said before that.
Exactly. So true. I've learned inside of sales as well, or just even just with healthy communication, there's this yes and.
Yeah, even though yes and.
Yep. Instead of saying but, because as soon as you say, someone has an idea, you're on a team and you're the leader of the team, or even just you're also participating in a group activity, someone is talking to you, they're introducing their ideas. They're saying, hey, I think that we should do this. You say, oh, I really like that, but right? That's where it goes south. But what if you say, oh, I really like that, and continue on?
Yeah.
Maybe you can still put the negative behind the and if there's something that you want to say. And the way that I think about that is maybe different for you, but this such thing is not going to probably work, whatever it is that you're going to say. There's still possibility to be enforcing your thoughts that is still in light of being powerful, strong, and enunciating your ideas that are not necessarily in a negative way. But it's about empathy, right? And also to create a healthy communication. So you're saying that most of what NLP is understanding how to communicate better?
I think it's one of the to communicate with other people, with the world, and with yourself as well. As far as like almost everything that we do in our life is communication. Even when you wake up and you can't wake up and you trying to speak with yourself, and so this is also kind of communication. And a lot of people, and I think most of the people, has the problem to communicate with themselves as well, and then not with other people as well. So and to understand like what is the communication, like actually it's everything in our life.
It really is.
Yeah. And the next thing that like just blow my mind, it helps so much, that is the anchors. I think
anchors, yes.
Yeah, anchors so powerful. Actually, if you take from NLP, like the only one thing that is gonna be like, and you're gonna like master it, is gonna be one of the amazing things that you're gonna do in your life is the anchors.
Yes.
Like even like I don't know, have you experienced some speeches with your ex as the like, okay, we need to speak?
Oh, we need to talk.
Yeah, we need to talk.
That's an anchor.
Yeah. As far as like
huge anchor. Or just anyone, not just necessarily your ex, but it's because maybe that was where the anchor was created, right? And so now anytime someone says, hey, we need to talk, that anchor of the feeling that it was created.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I think we need to explain to people what anchors are, because I know what anchors are, but it's really important to understand what an anchor is, how it's created, and how to reinforce an anchor. Would you like to explain? I think the idea first is to understand what exactly is an anchor. If you could give a basic example in someone's life.
Okay, so our brain is super lazy thing, and it's recording the right path to represent these things like again and again. If you do it like something first time, it's so hard for the brain to like proceed the information and other things. So and our brain trying to make all of the life like easier and easier, and to make it is just kind of recording, let's say like that, your behavior. And if in the end of this behavior you like alive, or you like escaped some scary thing, or like you get some chocolate after that, the brain automatically like record this behavior as the basic, and later on it's repeating and repeating. And we have some, let's say like anchors in our life, like it can be audio, it can be kinesthetic, and it can be visual. And let's say if you right now just think about the lemon, and what is like how it's yellow, like what is the smell of it, and how it's taste, and most of the people, they start to feel that you have like more, how's it called in mouth?
The saliva?
Saliva. So like the saliva started to produce automatically. So this is the anchor of the taste. As far as like if you see the lemon, like it's automatically body produce some saliva to eat it.
I'd have this with anytime I eat salt and vinegar chips or ginger tea.
Okay.
My body starts, I can feel it tingles and the sensations, even though I haven't drank it yet, that anchor has created inside of my mouth.
Yeah. So this is the like super easy to understand, like the taste anchors, but like all other anchors are like everywhere in our life. And let's say if your girlfriend comes to you and say like, we have to talk, like, so this is the visual and the audio anchors, and all of the previous parts in your life, like, it used to be not good talks. Definitely, most of the people. And that's why your body automatically like increasing the cortisol and increasing the things that you have to defend yourself, as far like right now gonna be the speech that you're not gonna like, and like someone gonna push you, and it's automatically put you on the defend position or attacking position. And after that, anything that you're gonna hear, it's already has this like tiny smell of the attacking, let's say like that. And of course you don't not trying to solve the problem, you're not trying to hear it, you just like feel that someone attack you and you have to defend. And the first thing that I did with my girlfriend, like in that moment I had like really bad like part of my relationship, like it was like almost super shaky, and I just annihilate these anchors of this like bad how's it, perception. Yeah, it's okay, bad perception of the.
Because I think there's even anchors where sometimes even if you have such a strong anchor that's built up over time, sometimes just seeing the face of a person can install a feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's where it's like where anchors come in.
Yeah.
Even if like maybe if it's a certain position that I touch you at once you are so, because I feel that the way to install anchors is when you are feeling a certain way in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, again, it's either kinesthetic, visual, or auditorial. And all of a sudden, let's say it's kinesthetic, right? Say you're feeling super anxious.
Yeah.
And I come up to you and I grab your shoulder and I'm like, hey man, how you doing? You know, are you all right? And this all of a sudden creates that feeling of anxiousness because I touched your shoulder. And so now you could go on the party and now all of a sudden you're still feeling anxious, and or maybe it's a party, maybe it's just we're talking. And this anchor of anxiousness has started its beginning. So now the next time someone comes around and touches you in the same spot, it just reinforces it again and again and again and again every time. So someone, maybe if it's a week later, someone comes up to you, touches you on that spot, that's going to reinforce that feeling. And anytime you even touch that spot on your neck or your shoulder, it's going to create the feeling of anxiety.
Yes, definitely.
Which is so interesting. And I love this because when I really made sense for me was when you hear your favorite song.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a huge anchor.
Yeah.
It's my favorite one. Because I was like, wow, think about it. Anytime that you were to listen to a really good song that maybe was in your childhood.
Yeah. This is one of the greatest anchors. Came out from.
You can create such great feelings from that. And this is an easy trick to get into a new state of feeling and power at any moment in time.
Yeah.
So what do you think would be like a step-by-step process for someone to create a new anchor?
So there are two main things that I want to share with you. The first thing about like how to annihilate the anchors. This is a really important thing as far as like it's great if you can create them, but it's you have to know how to make anchor disappear. As far as like if you have problem with your girlfriend and like every time when you see the face, like you start to be like, you want to kill someone, it's really hard to create something like other things, like to build new feelings from that. And for me, it's like, if you can imagine like in the game, there is like the scale of the, like, let's say the power of the skill. Let's say like that.
Oh, the skill set.
Yeah. So one skill, like one anchor, has like different power. And let's say every time when you had like really strong argue with your girlfriend, like it's connected to your her face, and this like anchor. And it's like, okay, it's 1,000 points. Like next time, 2,000 points, 3,000 points. And next time, when to annihilate this thing, so you can have like, you can have laugh, you can do the date or something like that. So you connect like her face with something good emotions. So, and like you like, okay, 2000 back, like, okay, so it's plus 1000. It's really, I don't like, rude, but for me, it's really easy to understand like that. As far as like some anchors can be so strong. So every time, like when you saw, it's connected with the panic attacks, with the other things. As far as like, if your body see like how it creates this actually. Let's say if you've been in the bus and that bus was like in the car accident, like some crazy shit, like, and you alive and end like next, but if you're alive in the end and it's happened because you didn't do anything, so you just stuck and can't do anything. So the next time the brain thinks that, so if you see the bus, the only one thing that to be alive in the end, you have to like freeze. So, and the next time, so the bus is the anchor. And to work with the panic attacks and other things, we are like reducing this anchor. So there are two things. There are special techniques, or the easy one. What are you gonna do? Just think about the bus. Let's say like you press one dot on one leg. You think about the bus, like what it looks like how does it feel, what is the smells, like you can feel like super shitty of that. So you take another leg, drop the point, and think about something like amazing that make you super calm, like one of the greatest moments of your life. Like you press and think like how does it feel, like how calm you are, like maybe did you meditate on this time, like okay. And after that, you just press two buttons together, and this is like some shit happens. Like actually, when I do the like therapy with some people, and I do this, it's so funny. As far as like when you press again this anchor number one, it's immediately on the face. You feel like it's like physical pain. Like when you drop on other things, it's like calmness, like, and when you drop two things, like sometimes like the face divided on two parts, and one thing like feel good and another thing like great, and like really, it's something happened inside the brain, and after that the feelings of the buses like goes like really down.
You have to combat the negative feelings with the positive ones.
So, and it depends how strong is the anchors. As far as like you have to be careful here. Just like one patient thing. If it was so bad experience, and you think, okay, my girlfriend has this like positive effect, like, and you connect like these two anchors, the anchor number one can influence for the face of your girlfriend. So it's better to charge, let's say like that. As far as like if I drop, okay, I meditated like 1 year ago, it was amazing. Like next time you press again, I was on a party, like blah blah blah. Like you create something more, so you charge it.
Charging it with more good experience. The good
and after that you annihilate that.
To disassociate any feelings of that anchor. Because then you're now creating the new anchor by feeling and pressing into your leg, that you can all of a sudden create that new anchor with. So now, not just thinking about it, instead of the bus, the anchor used to be the bus, but now you're putting the bus anchor onto your leg. Right? And so you're putting that bus anchor onto your leg, you think about the bus, you visualize it, like you said. And then after you get into that, now you have that same spot directly on your other leg, but your core. I think it's important to have the kind of opposite place.
Right? No, it's anything is okay.
Anything, so I could do one anchor on my hands and then one on my leg, and it doesn't matter. Okay.
Just the thing, like if you like tip it here and like it should be like next to it, it's going to be impossible to press it together.
So it has to be somewhat of a different distinction of that feeling on your body, the kinesthetic.
The kinesthetic is one of the easiest way to
reprogram.
To put the one anchor to another anchor.
Wow.
Okay, and so this thing about how to annihilate the anchors, and the second thing I want to like share is like it's one of the greatest things like in my life that I created. I have the like super anchor, I call it, as far as like every time when I feel great, like when I go to the waterfall, when I hear the like amazing music, when I drive in the bike to the sunset, so I drop like two fingers together and like press it really hard. And every time I charge it, and like with all of the great states like that make you like when you feel super motivated, when you do the ice baths and stuff like that. So you drop it every time, and you charge it like super strong hand, let's say like that. Yeah. And I had like one so like interesting experience. It was like bad and interesting for like we had like really strong argument with my girlfriend. Like it was so bad. Like she was like in not really good mood, and like, it's connect some shit. So in the end, it was like so bad. So we like sit on the front of each other, and like I was almost like crying. I don't know, like these all things that just go out from me, and I think okay. Actually, there is one great thing that I understood, that in that moment I just I wanted to feel it, as far as like it's really nice sometimes to feel yourself bad, to say like, okay, you're so poor and blah blah blah. So okay, and what did I do? So I remember that I have this like superpower hand, and I dropped these things like I promise I was like sit like that, like super almost like I think the red face like that. So I drop it, like it's immediately like my back in 3 seconds, like my state was like and like I sit with a straight back with a super clear mind, like wow, I can decide right now.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was so amazing experience.
So you're saying the second tip is to have the most powerful anchor.
Yeah.
Of super abundance.
Yeah.
Right.
As far as like you can use this anchor wherever you need some great state. When you go to the stage, when you have to like calling sales or something like that. So you drop it, and it's just promise like you do it 3 times when you feel great. Actually, it's not necessarily to do it like when you are like in the moment of the great things. Actually, if you have enough time, you just sit and like that. And you remember one of the great moments of your life, and you can drop 1 time. Okay, it's another time, 1. So the 3-4 times, and it's already charged to be great. And next time when you have some shit in your life, you just drop it, and it's immediately bring the back state to you. Like even right now, I just drop in my back.
Exactly, it's superpower. It's a superpower, man. I really, I think it's one of the most powerful things that you can actually create. It's super interesting too, because when you understand how anchors work, all of a sudden you're looking at your life in a different way, like almost like a game.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, every time I feel good, I'm gonna reinforce this anchor again. And so, like for ice baths, for me as well, I have an anchor where I have an auditory anchor where I say wow. Every time I go wow, I'm good.
Yeah.
Or I've also been trying to train my ears, so I'll pull my ears down at the same time.
Okay.
And I'll say that's like wow. And also is like it's a resting state where I did it when I was meditating and I was just feeling good. I was feeling relaxed and calm, and it was so good. And now every time I feel great and I get this sort of opportunity, I'm in the ice bath, someone is telling me good things. Anytime I feel good, I reinforce the anchor by saying, wow. But it's important to do it at the peak state, the best point of what you could possibly feel, like the actual climax. Because you can do it before. It'll take a little bit of skill to understand, okay, where is the climax going to go on? But it still helps. But it's almost like, those games where you try to match, there's this scale thing and it's going back and forth and you try to hit it in the middle. That's where you're trying to do. And I mean, the better in the middle you can get it, the more powerful it's going to be reinforced. And the more often you can do that, the more strong you have. Oh, I think it's amazing. So you're saying that inside of this conversation with your girlfriend, you had such a situation that you were just nearly, would you say you were close to even breaking up, or?
Yeah, it was so bad talk. It's like,
Wow.
yeah, and like in 2 or 3 seconds, like my state like was completely changed. Like from the, if it's like, this is like, okay, like I go to the forest, and this is like, okay, we're gonna get wedding. Like I go from here to the middle at least, just in 2 seconds.
Wow. Wow. That's so fascinating. And so this is a little bit different from what we're talking about for NLP, because what we first introduced to what NLP was is talking about the language.
Yeah.
So how does anchors fall into line with the anchors? Or sorry, how does anchors fall in line with NLP and language programming?
So the NLP is Neuro-Linguistic Program, and the neuro is the like our behavior, like the things in our head, neurons. Linguistic is the language, and the programming is like how can we reprogram our like behavior, let's say like that. And actually NLP is not just about like how can we speak and other things. It was born from the mathematician and linguistic person. So they started to go to the like one of the best psychologists from the like 30 years ago, so maybe 40, 50 years ago, and they started to find like what is the things that they say equal, like completely different, like psychologists, like from like hypnos. Other girl was like about what's it called, like the family therapy. Another thing like the physiological therapy. So, and they take all of this like completely different people, completely different schools, and they found that with the people who has the fast results, let's say like that.
Fastest results.
Yeah. So they found that they had in the therapy like the same patterns of the speeches. So like the hypnos, the family therapy, like quite the same. Like they work like completely different schools, and like they didn't even know like each other. But the mathematician, he just understand like, okay, this thing is working, this thing isn't working, and like it's they analyzed so much, and they cut it all of the water, let's say like that.
Yeah, they cut through the water.
Yeah. And just take the most effective. And after that, so they started to analyze like what are they saying, and they came up from like from the speeches to the anchors to the lines of the behavior, and I think that's how it goes from the linguistic.
Yeah, because also it has to do with questions as well, doesn't it? When we're talking about what are the questions that are we asking ourselves, that also is involved in NLP as well. Because I found this is a little bit of a different attitude, but when we look at the words inside of the questions, because anytime you're thinking, it's a question. Thinking comes from questioning.
Yeah.
So by looking at the words, we can see that there's, okay, if we're talking about the English language, there is more negative words to describe positive.
Yeah.
No, sorry, there's more negative words. There's more words to describe negative stuff than there is to describe positive things. And so there's actually a more easily data-wise to say that we can actually fall into a negative programming easier. And so by changing the language that we use, changing the questions that we use, especially if the questions are framed as, why is this happening to me? This is one of the questions that I always used to ask myself. And it was something that, I don't know if have you ever experienced that in your life? Did you ever change the frame of your questions and how they actually have?
Yeah. Definitely.
What was the question that was kind of the one that was inside of you all the time, and ever since you were introduced to NLP, it was changed?
Oh, actually, I was not really into that, but like I found that the questions, the quality of the question that we ask ourselves is like directly influence of the quality of your life and the decision that you take. As far as like, if all of the day you just think like, okay, like what let's say like in my relationship, relationship that I had like before, like, or what she can do bad. Like my brain just automatically produce some shit like okay, I'm gonna come back to home and like she can say like something bad to me, like, or it was like a unwashed dish or some shit like that, and like my brain is produce it, and it's really important to understand that what we're gonna think, that we're gonna kind of attract. As far as like, if you're gonna think like, okay, I'm gonna come back to my home and like I'm gonna see like her happy face and like it's gonna be love around me, it's gonna be support and blah blah, I will not give a shit about the dishes at all. But if I'm gonna think like 4 times about like, okay, it's gonna be dirty or something like that, and I come home and there's gonna be only one cup in the sink or something like that, the attention gonna jump to that, and so this is the negative line. And this is so powerful, but it's really hard to check yourself, as far as like it's really hard to influence to the system if you are in the system to understand, to see it.
Then so, because I exactly what you were saying, it's very hard, you know, when we look at the awareness of when these things happen, to know about how this affects you, especially when we're talking about questioning and the focus of where your attention is at. It's so helpful to actually be aware of where am I thinking? Where is this leading me to? Because like you said, oh, I can think about and focus about all the things that my girlfriend can give me, all the love and the attraction that I can have, or I can look about and think about the dishes, and that's the thing that's going to be so annoying in my head.
Yeah.
But it's bigger than that, than just your relationships, right? And anytime I want to change that, it makes it so much more challenging because there's already an association there, and people need to learn how to change these associations of, you know, oh, my life is, you know, it's like I'm depressed, you know, I'm anxious, like I can't do anything about it. I think that one of the steps is to obviously say that I have power to change it. But where does NLP come into this? How can you start to actually change the programming and to actually condition yourself to start to unlink those associations?
So for the first thing, I suggest to find some therapist. As far as like, it's so hard to see what shit you're gonna do, what shit you do in your life, like from the inside of the system. Like I had a really long relationship, like for like 2, 3, and 3 years in my life, and like all of them finished with the same line. Like, and only in the last one, I think, okay, maybe there is something that I do that is finishing with the same way. And it's like, for me, it took around like 10 years to understand that like I connected to the result. So it's not only about the other person. And it's so hard to find like, what is the question that you asking yourself? Like, it's the same thing as you, let's say you earn maximum, like your salary was maximum like $1,000, and you think about, okay, I want to get $20,000 a month, and you just don't know what questions you have to ask yourself, like, well, what is the actions you have to take, like what is the beliefs should be. And the easiest way is just find the person who already there and like ask like, okay, what shit do I do in my life to understand what to change. As far as like, if you don't know what to change and you just are gonna analyze like really long time what are you doing, it's really nice, but you're gonna develop the psychology from the 0 level. And the easiest way is just, okay, on the first level, you take the books, but there's also like one book is like 10 hours at least. But like you just go for the specialist person and like ask, okay, I have this problem, I need to solve it, and just 10 minutes, 5 minutes of the questions, and this specialist gonna understand like what is the problem with you. And it's really nice that as far as like right now, so many psychology schools, like especially like I so love NLP as far as like it's working so fast. Like I don't really work it as the psychologist with the usual psychotherapy or stuff like that. As far as like usually people need around like 6 months to get the nice results, stuff like that.
Yeah.
With the NLP, usually it's around like 3-4 sessions, like up to 8, let's say, to overcome like one, like, let's say, problem. As far as like, for me, it's so easy as far as like it's connected with the anchors, with the lines of the behavior, and they just it looks like every time you behave like that, and in the end you feel like shit, like you're overwhelmed, you have the problem with the relationship, like you eat so much, so the only one way of the behavior. And for me, I just like go like a couple of stages back and just reprogram yourself like to another line of the behavior, that like you don't eat so much like for after 6 p.m.
Yeah.
That's all. Like
just changing the rituals inside of your day. And I love what you said earlier based on what you said about getting a therapist. I 100% agree with that as well. But so you're talking about if this is the first step that someone could take, that this would be is to just go back into what your current experiences have already been and look at them, not as a judgment level where you're, bringing back those feelings, but to look at it in a different way of how can I make this a little bit better by understanding, okay, hey, like I was representing myself in this line. Where can I take a different action, or how can I feel a different way through this line? So can you explain more about this and how to get to that second line?
So first I'm gonna like comment the first part that you said. You said really right thing to change a little bit. Yeah, as far as like for me until 27 or 29 years old, like for me it was totally okay to don't have the personal borders like almost at all. Like I had like this nice guy's symptom or something, I don't know how to call it in English, and for me it was totally normal to put someone
in front of you.
Yeah, like totally normal. And if I in those states, like when I was 25 years ago, like I was saying, okay, I have some shit in my life. Like I go back to some situation and I think, okay, what was wrong? So I can change something like so small. It's always like you just point to the sky. In Russia we call it like that. So you just trying to guess what is the shit was to solve it. It's great that we have internet right now and ChatGPT and books. You can just express like what is the thing that what I can change. But what we can do to, if you already know that you have the problem and you can, so if you have a problem and you understand this, so I have to change from this to this.
Yeah.
What we can do? There are special techniques when you just almost like go to the alpha state, like when you meditate or stuff like that.
The alpha state.
Okay.
Yeah. Brainwave.
So this is one of the baselines of the hypnosis.
Yep.
So NLP really love hypnosis. It's really productive. So you drop yourself to this state and you go back to the state of the one of the first situation that this behavior happened. And there are two things that you have to do. The first thing is to decrease the emotional feedback from that.
Yeah, the intensity.
Yeah. And there are a couple of things that you can do. And I love this thing. As far as like you just go to the past and you see this picture that usually if the therapist look at you, your face is going to be like, yeah, something like that. So you start to breathe faster and other things. And you start to create different picture. So you can, if let's say, if it used to be some fight in the childhood, then after that you can't like set the borders after that. So you just put the really funny voices of your like
People that we're talking
yeah,
to in
yeah,
this
yeah.
argument. Yeah.
So the funny faces, they can be a bit like animated. They can,
Big ears.
yeah, big ears, like super short feet or something like that. So you create some shit over and over again, and in some moment, the emotional feedback, like changing from the scary or the fans to the like just funny, and the actually laughing is one of the greatest things to reprogram yourself, and as far as like it's really strong emotion. So at first you take this thing, and after that there is a technique how can you change the memories, and you just like sit in this state and you just create the new story, like, and just you need to try to believe in that. And you think, okay, so in that state, like I was like so strong, so I punched to this to face, like I was like Jackie Chan. Yeah, it was so amazing. So you create like 1, 2, 3 times, you go around like this idea, and the next time you gonna be like way more like confident in those situations.
Yeah.
So this is one of the techniques. Like another things about like the anchors. Like again, if you're gonna understand the anchors and you're gonna be the master of that, wow! Like
Yeah.
as far as like when I did it with myself when as far as like I didn't have the personal borders, and here's the every time when I see the person face, or like when we have some argument, like I feel like it's like getting tinier, like getting like smaller, let's say like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So every time the argument is the anchor.
Yeah.
So and I just put the anchor of the argument and the like powerless. How is it called? Like,
feeling of powerless.
yeah. So this is number one anchor, and I exchange it with the power anchor with like fucking confident in myself. Like when I ready to smash everything in my life. So I did it like 3-5 times. As far as like the this thing about the borders was like so strong for me. I replace it, and next time when I feel that someone wants to like don't give a shit about my borders, like, and I feel that my goals are like behind the lines that we're gonna do it together. So I just like no, and it's wow. Like for me, it was so strong. Like it was like kind of funny story. When I was like three years ago, or stuff like that, one of my friends lived with us, and just for like 2 months, stuff like that. And they said, okay, no problem, you're gonna pay for the rent and blah blah. So the day of the payment came to me, and I paid for the full house.
Yeah.
And the next 2 weeks, I couldn't ask the person to pay the rent. Yeah, like every time when I feel there is a really physical border to go for the speech, like it was so hard. And after 2 weeks, when it was like so strong that I can't do it, but I think about that every day. It was like some.
Were you thinking about like what would happen if you were to say it, or were you thinking of, because there's the opposite, right? You could think about how positive and confident you could be in that, but what were you feeling and thinking in that situation?
So a bit later, I'm gonna tell how to overcome that. Like, but for me, it was like 2 weeks of the not heaven, but the hell. 2 weeks of the hell. And after 2 weeks, I came to this person like, hey, you need to pay the rent. And like, she was like in like 10 seconds. Oh yeah, sure. This is the money. And for me, like, 2 weeks. I hate this shit. Yeah, and that's for me, it was really not the dot number one, as far as like on those moments, like I didn't know how can I use it, as far as, but for me it was so obvious that like these 2 weeks of the suffering was useless, totally, like just 10 seconds of the speak, that's all. And you ask it how to overcome yourself, like with the same situation. in NLP there is a triangle. How can we influence for our state? And it's like the triangle is like that. On the down level is the thoughts, so the questions that we ask to ourselves and blah blah. So the next one is the actions. Next one is the body state, and the top is the breathing. And it's almost impossible to influence for your state like from the down level. Let's say if you are like really anxious, like, and you usually the anxious person, like you start to breathe really fast, like you like your body like gets a lot of oxygen, like you tight your muscles, like in that state it's really hard to feel yourself confident. It's impossible, let's say like that. And if you're gonna ask yourself like, okay, how can I be more confident in this state, like what makes me so powerful in that state, it's gonna be almost impossible to shift the state. But if you're gonna change anything on the top of this pyramid, everything down gonna change automatically. So, and the first thing, so you like, so it's the action. You open your chest, like you straight your back. You start to breathe like slow and really deep. Like how, actually, the easiest way, just remember how it used to be. You just sit like, okay, like 2 years ago, I was really confident on one party. Like how was it? Like, and it's your body gonna represent the things that you did. So usually your breath started to be changed, like your face, the muscles on your face gonna be changed, like you start to relax your shoulders, and that's gonna influence for the chemistry of the body. And like 20, 30 seconds, you're gonna jump into the state of the confidence. And if you are in the state of in the powerful state, you can do the things.
Yeah, that's a huge, huge thing. I love what you said, because that's how powerful breathing is.
Yeah.
You can really impact your entire life. It's just looking at the cues. You also can, if you were to condense this down, you can call it the triad, right? The way that your body is moving, the physiology, the posture, the tone, the breathing, the facial gestures. Then you can look at where's your focus, and then obviously the questions and meaning. Those are the three things that are, like you said, it's just the overview of looking at how you can start to change your state. But when you look at it in the intensity level of which one is going to do it the most, then it's going to be the breath. Yeah, 100%. I so agree with everything about the breath. And you have only started to do breath work for 2 years then?
I think a bit more, but I didn't understand why I did it. I did the first breath work I did because it's getting me high. As far as like, I think it's all of the people start with that. And most of the people, actually, after all of the breath work, you feel like way more calmer. You can breathe like way more deeper, and you become like a bit more confident. As for mostly, some breath work makes you way more anxious. Let's say like that. As far as like the breath work of the panic attack, when you start, if you're gonna breath like that, maybe like 10, 15 minutes. It depends like how stress resistant you are, but like there is the holotrope breath work for like 1 hour. You breath like that, and you put your body in a panic attack. And in that case, the brain starts to produce some so crazy shit that you're gonna die, like you have some problems in your life, and blah blah. And actually, there is I heard that is like one line of the therapy that you put yourself in the panic attack. In that case, you just go a bit more to the past, to your childhood, and when you're in that state, you're gonna see the most bad things. So, and this is gonna be the most key things that you need to work with the psychologist.
For me, a lot of the times it was social anxiety. So when I for example, even when I first started podcasting, I would get on these podcasts with myself, and I did not know what to say, what to speak. I would get anxious. All of a sudden, my tongue, I would start spilling out words that wouldn't even make any sense. And the whole way that I was speaking and talking to people, trying to at least say something and give value. Wow. The way that I was thinking about, okay, are people going to like this, or am people going to enjoy what I'm talking about? Am I confident enough to do this? Am I knowledgeable enough to do this? And even also sometimes, because I was also, I guess you could say, a puny person when I was younger, I was pushed around a lot. I didn't have any boundaries. Everyone was using me. I was a people pleaser. I wouldn't say I was bullied, but I was kind of bullied. And so the self-esteem that I had was just horrible. And
Mhm.
I mean, I fixed a lot of that by going to the gym more and kind of working on myself. That's just been a huge help. But then there's still the mindset, the psychological aspect of why my behaviors are still such in such way. With the examples of going out to have conversations with just strangers on the street. Sometimes when I noticed a year ago, even when I wanted to look at people just directly in the eye, strangers, I'm very comfortable with it on friends, but with just crossing someone on the street, one of the things I noticed is like I don't like to directly look at someone in the eyes on the street as a
Uh-huh.
stranger. It almost feels like if I do, or if I look at them, it's like a conflict of some sort for some
Yeah.
reason. And even with going up to someone and talking, maybe flirting, giving some people, some love and appreciation, I had that struggle as well.
Uh-huh.
That was a huge thing for me. I'm still like working on it mostly.
Uh-huh.
I'm a lot better. I would
Okay.
like to be in a better position.
Okay. So actually, it's there are two things that I want to share with you here. The first thing, it's about the like in the monkey society. So there is alpha and the lower grade monkeys. And in the human beings, we have like completely the same lines of the behavior. And if you can't look to the eyes of the other monkeys, if you can't go for the to the girls and like super freely speak, so you don't feel that you are in your power, that you are in alpha. And like in the monkey society, if you're like downgrade and you go to the cool lady monkey, like another alpha monkey gonna come and smash you, like immediately. But in our society, in the human beings, like there are no these rules. But on a biological level, it's still working. And that you said like they get the more muscles. It's a nice thing, but sometimes it's not working. It's just working with the testosterone. So like the more testosterone you're gonna get, like the more confident you are.
Yeah.
And he just you have to work with the thing that you are in your power. Like you can do it. Like I can do it. It's like not meditation. It's like pray. Like I can do it.
It's
like
affirmation.
Yeah. But
very strong.
And you just need to understand, like give the line that you are in your power to do that. Like, and nothing bad gonna happen to you.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me. Like maybe for the half a year ago, I started to do it like quite often to me, and it's become so let's say obvious. Like I started to notice that like in most of the time I started to like straight my back, as far as like if you are too cool in the monkey society and you are on a downgrade and you just go like that, so you're gonna be also punched. Like but in the human society, like no one give a shit about that. But on the physical level, like if you go like that, it's impossible to feel yourself confident.
Yeah.
It's impossible to go to the girlfriend and say like, okay, like I like you, like let's go. But if you come like that, like, and the girls like they so much feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if you just, the opposite works as well. If you're looking up to the ceiling, put a big face on your good happy face, and you try to get depressed.
Yeah. It's so hard.
It's impossible.
And it's a fun thing that if you're gonna look up like with a straight back and you say like the life is shit, it's like it's still like it's
you
fine.
Start laughing.
Yeah. But if you like downgrade and I go, oh, it's like I feel so happy. It's like it feels so different. So you guys, you can try that, and you're gonna just immediately think. And this is on the physical level.
Wow.
How you posture, like how you breath and other things. Like as far as like if you stay like that, like you're all time you're like stuck. It's impossible to breathe really deep.
You can't breathe as strongly.
Yeah, and so here's the thing: like be alpha.
Women could be alpha too. Yeah. You know, it's like it's not a man thing. I feel like my view of when I hear alpha is to say that it's a male thing to do, to be alpha. And I mean, I talked to one of our mutual friends about this, and she says that she doesn't like, say, to be called an alpha woman,
Mhm.
because that is just like giving off the wrong vibes or what she thinks of herself and share her portrayed images to other people. She wants to still be empathetic and, the sweet feminine
Mhm.
woman, but at the same time, we all need to be alpha to get what we want and to
Okay.
go where we want.
So I think it depends with who you compare yourself. So if you are alpha, if you're a woman and you are alpha in your boys' friend society, that is shit. Like, this is completely wrong, I think. But if you are alpha woman in the women's society, I think it's great. As far as like in the women's monkey society, let's say like that, it's a bit different. As far as like if you're a woman and you are like the most beautiful, let's say, like you take the best, like the most testosterone monkey.
Yeah.
Let's say like that. But if you have more testosterone than all of the boys monkey, that is fucked. I had a lady friend, and not the boy, but just the woman.
Yeah.
And she was like super tall, maybe like 190 or something like that. And she was like, it's so hard to find like the boyfriend for her. As far as like every time when you just like meet, it's like also like physiological thing. Like if some person like a bit higher than you feel already like you have to look up, and all of the judge places, like the judge always sit on the top, and like they look from the top on you.
Yeah, the perception of that.
Yeah.
Wow, I agree. I think that when we look at all of what we talk about inside of NLP and more or less behavior of humans, it's so fascinating to me. And I find it more and more interesting every single day when I learn about things like NLP, even CBT. This is a new thing that I've been introduced to as well. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy. This is about reframing and thought patterns and such, right? But when we're looking at NLP, it's so powerful because of the way that it can impact you with the language and the meaning and the way that your body is moving, the way that you use your body, the way that you use your focus, the way that you use your attention and meaning. And so there's so much that you can actually control without even realizing it. And I think a lot of us just go into this victim mentality. And so I want to ask you just this kind of like wrap up type of question, because I would say a big percentage of the world lives in a victim mentality.
Yes.
More than an abundant mentality. How can you use NLP to get into an abundant mentality?
There is no way.
No way?
Yeah, actually, in the therapy, actually in the total NLP, of course, you can ask the questions such as like, what can I do to solve this problem? Like, how can I influence for that? So, but if you are not ready to take responsibility for your life, nothing gonna help you.
You have to make a decision.
Yes, you have to take the main decision that I am the source of my problems, let's say like that, and only in my power to change that. But if you say like, okay, today the red moon, that's why like I feel so shitty, like if you come to me and say, okay, today is like this phase of the moon, and I have the bad mood, and like for me as the therapist, like for me, okay, we can change the scale of the moon. No, okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
And in NLP there is a really important thing before we start the therapy. It's to put the person to the how's it called in English? To the borderline. So it's like only one way to go, like burn the bridges behind you. Yeah. So I don't want to smoke anymore. So this is the border. So this is so bad that I can't do it anymore. Yeah. So you come to me and we work at that. So the work can be done. But if it's like person come and like, okay, no, it's gonna be nice if I quit smoking, like it's not really bothering me.
Yeah, so, there's no way that they're gonna change.
Yeah, there is a
It's a small percentage. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not as likely as someone who just
Yeah.
wants it.
Of course,
Who's
of
someone
course,
who
of
just
course,
is
of course.
like, hey, I want this.
Yeah.
I will do everything that I can.
Yeah.
Tell me everything that you can. You know, there's a point of a little bit of desperation inside of it, but that's helpful because the people are more willing to go through the pressure and the risk and the pain inside of that because they actually made a decision. But there's also people who don't hold integrity to themselves and the self-love that they made a decision, so they go back on their decision, right? That's a completely different topic.
Yeah.
But it's important to the first step, make a decision. And once you make a decision, you have to create leverage on that decision of what's the cost of not doing this and what's the benefit that it is going to happen by changing this.
Okay. So it's like carrot behind. It's like carrot behind and in front of you.
Yeah, the carrot and the stick. Okay, what am I running from? And where's the carrot? Like, why do I want the carrot?
Yeah.
These questions are very, very helpful to get leverage.
Not every person can use this correct. As far as like, of course, if you are in this like borderline, it's possible to help yourself. But if you are not next to this borderline, it's really hard to overcome yourself and find the way how can you communicate with yourself and do the argument like over and over, like, okay, today I'm gonna smoke, no, and you always fighting with yourself. And there are some special questions that help to go for this border. And this one of that is like scale 1 of 10. Like, why would you smoke, quit smoking? So, and you say like, okay, like 8. And like, why you didn't say like 7?
Yeah.
So, and you see, like, I drop your attention more on the things. Why would you change?
Yeah.
So, and this is the thing about the quality of the question.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I love that. Yeah, but you're saying that it's not going to be as easy to change if you don't have enough pain, like you said, the borderline.
Yeah.
Right.
It's definitely, and this is a really important thing as far as like,
I mean, you don't have to have a lot of pain. I mean, it's all based on the decision. If you just yes, you can say that people will make a decision because there is more pain there. That's where decisions become easier, or there's going to be a bigger upside, the pleasure of that. But at the same time, you don't need all of that. You can just make a decision. It just makes it easier to make a decision with more pain. Correct?
It's just make enough power to do something. As far as like,
yeah, exactly. You'll have the leverage again on your side.
Yeah. So we have Neuro-Linguistic system in our body. It's like this is the hormone. It's connected with the dopamine things, and the Neuro-Linguistic produce it when we have like some huge problem. Let's say like that, and the Neuro-Linguistic give us the energy to do something.
Yeah.
And let's say if you have shitty job and you get like, let's say like $1,500 and you spend for the month $1,300, to say like that. So it's still like painful job, but it's like enough comfort for you to live.
Yeah.
It's like, it's going to be so hard to think, okay, so I need to spend time for to look for a new job or something like that.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be like so toxic that you can't do anything with that, so you go and find a new job. So the body produces enough power and motivation to do some actions. And maybe you're going to get like some job like for $4,000. Like same job, like not toxic, but the person who has not enough discomfort in the situation will not do the action. And the same thing with the therapy. As far as like, I have right now this thing with the allergy. Before that, I was like, allergy? I had like so strong cat allergy, like it was so crazy. Like if I see just like some fur of the cats here, my brain, okay, it used to be the cat here, and okay, it was that. So my eyes red, like nose stuck, and like super shaky here. And so I did some therapy with myself, maybe like 2 times with the NLP, and I reduced the feedback of my body on 95%.
Wow.
So like right now, I have 2 cats and I can kiss them, I can play with them. But if I take the cat and do like that, I still have some.
Rub it all over your face.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. And this 5% is, I want to fix it, but it's not enough painful for me to go and do it.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, and I have all of the tools. And can you imagine for the people who has like 50-50 problem with the relationship, or like you understand, so maybe my relationship is toxic, but I'm not sure, but like I feel quite okay in this situation. So it's almost impossible to find the power to go to the even special person.
It's the power is also just the time to spend on doing that and putting the effort into wanting to change it.
Yeah,
because it is very important for when you just said a little bit earlier about the uncomfortable side or the uncomfortable experience. We have to get addicted to the uncomfortable experience to actually. And it's a craving that you have to create for yourself to really, really, really impact the way that you want to change. You have to be addicted to it so much so that you're wanting to be uncomfortable more than you are comfortable. And this way you're actually going to be able to change much easier. But it's difficult to want to be inside of uncomfortable sides, because when you look at human behavior, it's all based on pain and pleasure. And most people associate pain with, okay, I don't want to do this. But if you associate pleasure with the uncomfortable experience, you're going to be wanting to take more action.
So there is a really risky thing here, as far as like if you really want to put yourself in a bad situation. Actually, a lot of Russian people are addicted for that. And a lot of Russian people who go, sorry, Russian guys, but when the people like move from Russia to another country, they start to feel like so anxious that nothing happened. As far as like, if you are in the place that you always have to fight for your, let's say, food, and like when nothing bad happens, like only good thing, the brain still it's become addicted for the overcome the challenges, overcome the some from problems.
So true.
And you start to create some shit on the like straight on the empty place. And here's just I suggest to do a bit different thing, to treat yourself when you do the actions to
create a habit. It's the reward.
Yeah. So you use the reward to create not the habit to overcome the difficulties. You said that it's nice to get a pleasure from put yourself in an uncomfortable position.
Yes.
So it can create the addiction to ruin your life. As far as like if you do the like self-growing, you get like a good salary, and at some point, when it's gonna be like everything's so great that you can't imagine that something good,
you still want it.
Yeah, you still want to change it, and you're gonna create some shit that's gonna.
This is why self-awareness is also super powerful, where you can stop yourself in that stage. But I think it's a very helpful to put yourself into this situation. Some experiences, if you have enough mental strength and self-awareness to take yourself out of it, but also be able to reprogram yourself as well to think in a different way, because this is all based on beliefs. You can change beliefs at any time.
Yeah.
But for the average person, it's very difficult. And yes, maybe not going into this situation of putting yourself in uncomfortable situations all the time, because then you're going to, like you said, I love what you said, because you can get addicted to that. And all of a sudden, in your regular experience of life, it's just like as you were to be working all the time. If you were to work every single day, you're always going to think that, okay, I still have something to do.
Yeah.
This is the same thing.
Yeah. So this is what came up like with the overthinking, with the anxiety things that you can't, if you don't do anything. And this is also like 50-50. And like NLP is about the productivity, and you have to think, what is the most productive thing that's going to help me to do the things. And here's like not to create the habit to do always put yourself in a shitty situation that you have to fight for the resources, but to find some way how can you create the habit to work hard for the for something good.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful. Sergey, I really, really appreciate this conversation. You have given the world a lot of wisdom. This was a great conversation that we've had, and we have dove into a lot of fascinating topics of human behavior. And anyone who watches this is going to absolutely get a huge, huge amounts of value to understand how to implement their life. So I really appreciate this conversation. It was a great, and the world is going to enjoy Tim. Your alter ego.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Yeah, it was really great pleasure.